You can't blame the broccoli, I said. Your dad just boils all the flavor out and then puts cheese on top. If you treat it right, broccoli is super delicious. It's my second favorite cruciferous vegetable. Nina rolled her eyes and laughed. Only you, Sam Calloway, could get so excited defending the honor of a vegetable. We reached the corner of Nina's street and she turned and waved. Text me later. Okay, later, friend. Nina and I had a tradition of calling each other friend, but drawing out the word so that it lasted as long as possible. Bye, friend. Nina's voice trailed off as she headed down her street. I hitched my backpack higher on my shoulder and walked over to my townhouse on the next block. I reached into the front pocket of my backpack for my key, but then I realized that our porch gate was unlocked. I knew right away that it was my little brother Oliver's fault. His elementary school gets out before my middle school, and our parents' van and car were both missing, so they weren't home yet. Ollie knows he's supposed to lock the gate. Mom, Dad, and I have all reminded him 1,000,000 times. But still, he always forgets. I was halfway across the porch when I heard it. A whimpering sound. I froze. After a quick look around, I didn't see anything out of place. Maybe I'd just heard a squirrel in a nearby tree. But then the sound came again. It was definitely a whimper, and this time I could tell that it was coming from a big cardboard box that was sitting on one of the lounge chairs. At first, I hadn't even noticed the box. Now I wondered if it was some sort of delivery of catering supplies for my parents. I walked over to the box and peered inside, and I couldn't believe what I saw. 2. 3 wishes? Inside the box were 2 little dogs, wrapped up in a pink and white striped blanket. When they saw me, they both started whimpering and trying to wriggle out of the blanket. The dogs were pugs. I was sure of that. A girl in my school has a pug that comes with her dad in the car when she gets picked up. Pugs have wrinkly little old man faces and huge black eyes, and they're absolutely adorable. Exactly like these 2 dogs. I unwound the blanket and stroked each dog on the head. Their ears were velvety soft. Where did you 2 come from? I asked. 2 sets of big black eyes blinked up at me. One of the pugs gave a short bark, as though trying to answer my question. I was still in shock. Why were there 2 dogs on my porch? It seemed like Nina's wish for me had just magically come true. Times 2. Was my best friend secretly a magical genie or something? Did I still have 2 wishes left? If so, I decided on the spot that I'd wish to keep the dogs, and also to be tall. I patted the talkative one on the head once more. Stay right here, I told the pugs. I walked back out of the porch gate and checked the parking area. But no one was around. Not knowing what else to do, I returned to the box of pugs, picked it up, and carried it inside the house with me. It was too hot for these little guys to be outside. With a blanket, no less. They were both panting, their pink tongues hanging out of their mouths. Ollie, I yelled as I stepped into the foyer, but got no answer. I shut the door behind me and glanced at the dry erase board on the fridge. My little brother had scrawled one word, Colin, which meant he'd walked over to his best friend's house. Someone must have left these little guys on the porch after Ollie had left for Colin's. I looked back down at the dogs and examined them more closely. Neither wore a collar, and there was nothing in the box with them except the blanket. No note or anything. So strange. Immediately, one of the dogs began to bark frantically and hop around.